Police in Las Vegas found themselves in the middle of a UFO mystery last month.
They saw creatures walking around.
Inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
I doubt it was aliens.
Something landed or crashed.
A report of an alien sighting at a Las Vegas home.
Las Vegas, known for its parties and wild times, just experienced something horrible. Did you know that in Las Vegas, witnesses claim to have seen aliens? Everything was fun and games, but now everyone in town is talking about it and can't look away. They describe them as being 9 to 10 feet tall, with enormous, big, gray eyes. The 911 call caught the world by storm, as we now have testimony from one of the few witnesses of another civilization. Join us as we explore the clearest footage of the creature that just landed in Vegas. The 911 call that changed everything. In the lively and busy city of Las Vegas, a family had an experience they will never forget. This happened on the first day of May. The whole thing began when something crashed in their backyard, after a weird green light flashed across the night sky. The family was really scared and confused by this strange happening, so they quickly called 911 for help. When the police got there to check things out, they heard an amazing story from the family. The family explained to the 911 operator that they saw big creatures in their backyard, and these creatures didn't look like humans at all. The person who called was very sure about what they saw, saying, "They're definitely not humans. I'm 100% sure."
And they're not humans. 100% they're not humans.
The caller was really scared and couldn't believe what they were seeing. They said, "I'm not joking, this is real. We just saw something fall from the sky. It had lights around it, and when it landed, it made a huge noise. We felt a strange energy around us. Then, we heard footsteps, a lot of them, near us. We saw some big equipment, and next to it, there was this creature. It was really tall, at least 8 feet, and there was another one inside it. They had really big eyes that seemed to be watching us. One person who saw the creature gave more details about it. It was very tall and thin, with green skin. They said, "When I looked it in the eyes, I couldn't move. It felt like when you're awake but can't move." They went on to describe the creature's weird face, big feet, shiny eyes, and a wide open mouth. At the same time, the Las Vegas Police Department showed video from a body camera that made the story even more mysterious. The video showed something flying low in the sky. This confirmed what the family said, as one of the police officers mentioned that a colleague had seen something fall from the sky too. This wasn't just one person's story either. At least 21 people in different states like Eastern California, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah also reported seeing the same green light. But when the police looked around the family's backyard, they didn't find anything odd, so they closed the case. However, this weird event happened right after a big revelation from a former intelligence official. This official said that the US government has alien ships, some complete and some in parts. This former official, 36-year-old David Charles Grush, had shared secret information with Congress and the intelligence community's Inspector General about secret projects with alien ships. Grush, who had been in combat in Afghanistan and worked for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office, said that Congress wasn't being told everything about these findings. Grush was part of the National Reconnaissance Office and the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency in a team called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. He worked with them from 2019 to 2022, and during that time, the team changed into the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, which also looked into underwater objects. Other intelligence officers, both working and retired, have said the same things as Grush. These officials are from different agencies and know about the activities with these supposed alien ships. Grush's story makes people wonder about a lot of things, and adds more mystery to what happened in the backyard of the family in Las Vegas. Could it be that the government having alien technology is linked to the weird sightings the family and others reported? The whole incident is still a big mystery, and it leaves us with more questions than answers. The subject being looked into right now is known as Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, or UAP for short. This name is used for strange objects that have been discovered and are being studied more closely. People think that these objects might be from beyond what we know or can make, perhaps even from outer space or someplace we don't know about. This idea comes from looking closely at the shapes of these objects and what they're made of. Experts, including someone named Grush, have noticed that these objects are quite unusual. They have a different kind of structure at the atomic level and show types of radiation that we don't see in things humans make. Grush has said that for a long time now, the government and its partners, including companies that make defense equipment, have been gathering these odd objects. Sometimes they find entire objects, and other times just bits and pieces. Grush is working together with a lawyer who used to be the first ever Inspector General for the intelligence community. This lawyer is helping Grush figure out the right way to tell the public about what he's found. To make sure he's doing everything correctly, Grush told the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review about his plans to share this information. This office is part of the Department of Defense, and its main job is to check over information before it's made public. They want to make sure that any information shared doesn't put the country's safety at risk. This review process is really important because it stops sensitive details that could be harmful to the country's security from getting out. Grush's choice to share his discoveries follows a new set of rules meant to protect secret information. These rules were put in place in the most recent law that gives money for defense things. The creation of these rules shows how important it is to be very careful with sensitive information, especially when it's about topics that a lot of people are interested in, like mysterious objects. Grush is being very careful and responsible in how he talks about these interesting topics. Working with a lawyer who knows a lot about intelligence matters shows that this is a serious matter. It's about finding the right balance between letting people know and not putting the country's safety at risk. The involvement of the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review shows how strict the process is for sharing information that could affect national security. Grush's careful approach is aimed at informing people about these fascinating findings while making sure to protect sensitive information, following the new laws that are meant to strengthen defense and security. People in charge face the unknown as they look for the truth. They find something surprising that could change how we see the universe. Chapter 2: National Defense Authorization Act Against Aliens. The recent revelations from Grush, combined with information from other undisclosed sources, show a strong determination within parts of the government to solve a huge and mysterious problem. This mystery, which affects national security, has been a concern for the military and a topic of public fascination since World War II. For many years, the Air Force tried to disprove reports of mysterious flying objects through a campaign of misinformation. However, after conducting 2 public hearings and many secret briefings, Congress now wants clear answers. Christopher Mellon, a seasoned professional in U.S. intelligence, has been working with lawmakers for a long time on investigations about unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP. Mellon, who once served as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and has almost 20 years of experience in intelligence, shared, "Many high-ranking current and former officials have told me about this secret program. They've given me details about its history, how it's run, and where they supposedly found and took an unknown craft. But sharing this sensitive and potentially shocking information carefully is tricky. Some potential informants don't trust the leadership of the Allen Anomaly Resolution Office, which Congress set up. Despite these challenges, some insiders are now ready to speak out about these recovery programs, even though it might be risky. Jonathan Gray, currently working at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center and focusing on unmanned aerial vehicles, is one of them. Before this, he worked on special projects for the Department of Defense and in private aerospace. Gray, who has a secret clearance and a long family history in U.S. intelligence, believes that the presence of non-human intelligence is a fact. He stated, "We are not alone," and explained that such recoveries occur globally, and no single nation has figured out how to deal with it. Before he worked at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Grush had a lot of important jobs in intelligence. He was as important as a colonel in the army, and he used to prepare daily reports for the boss of the National Reconnaissance Office. Grush has been working in intelligence for more than 14 years, and was also in the Air Force, where he did really well. In 2021, people praised him a lot for his skills in making intelligence strategies. They said he was good at studying reports about unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, and telling Congress what they didn't understand about them. Grush has been very involved in talking to Congress about UAPs. He helped write the part about UAPs in the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act. This act, which was supported by Senators Kirsten Gillibrand and Marco Rubio and signed by President Biden, lets people share information about UAPs with Congress without getting into trouble, even if they promised before not to talk about it. Grush told Congress that for a long time, secret programs about UFOs were hidden inside different agencies. These programs were part of normal secret projects, but weren't always reported the right way. He talked about a secret competition during the Cold War to find, take, and maybe figure out how to use materials from UAP incidents. This competition was with other big countries to get advantages in defense. In 2022, Grush sent Congress a lot of secret audio recordings that talked about how they got these materials. When Grush talked about this, he made sure to say that he never saw any pieces of crashed spaceships or materials from aliens shown to Congress members. He said that when he tried to learn more about these exciting mysteries, he faced a lot of problems. People often didn't like his curiosity, and he ran into rules that stopped him. Grush had the chance to talk to many smart and important people who know a lot about secret information. Some of these people were part of a secret program. From these talks, he found out that there's a big effort to find and study UFOs. He learned that different groups are doing different kinds of research on UFOs. Grush knows people who are working on these projects now, and some who worked on them before. Also, Grush said that some people who are in these secret UFO projects talked to him because of his job. They felt they could share their worries about some wrong things happening. These problems included not following the right rules for government contracts, doing illegal things, and keeping secrets in certain companies and universities. A person who supports Grush said that the information he knows is very sensitive. It suggests that there are very secret projects focused on studying materials that might be from space. Grush's story shows a really complicated and tough situation in trying to find out the truth about UFOs and materials from aliens. He had to deal with lots of problems, like people blocking him and not liking his questions. His talks with people in these secret programs have helped show the efforts to look into these strange happenings. He talked to people who are in these projects now and some who used to be, which showed a big and complex effort to understand UFOs. Also, the worries about secret actions in the government and universities make this situation even more interesting. The information Grush has about secret projects with materials from space shows how mysterious and possibly game-changing these efforts are. New finds make the truth hunt go deeper, mixing reality with things hard to believe. Both friends and doubters learn more about the big puzzle. Chapter 3. Top Secret UFO Programs. The story about special secret programs is quite complex. These programs are not publicly known, but certain people who oversee the government's activities were informed about them. This includes the Inspector General and the staff of the Intelligence Committee, a few individuals who are actively involved in these programs, which focus on discovering and understanding mysterious things, confirmed the details in a confidential report made by a man named Grush. Grush used to work on these secret projects and left his job on April 7, 2023. He did this because he believes it's important for more people to know about the government's secret activities. Many people who work in intelligence still hold Grush in high regard, and a number of reliable people support what he says. Grush has stated that for the past 80 years, there has been a hidden effort to understand and use technology from unknown sources. A retired Army colonel who worked with Grush agrees with him. Nell mentions that some of this mysterious technology might be from non-Earth beings. Grush is getting legal assistance from Charles McCullough III, a very experienced lawyer. McCullough is a prominent figure in his law firm and is helping Grush with his case. To explain more about these secret programs, they are part of a larger endeavor to study advanced technology that appears to be not from our world. This research is very secretive but intense, with experts trying to learn from these unknown technologies. The aim is to possibly use this knowledge for national defense or other significant purposes. Grush's decision to leave his position and talk openly about these matters is unusual and significant. Typically, people in such roles do not discuss sensitive information publicly. His actions indicate that he strongly believes the public should be informed about government activities, especially when they involve something as extraordinary as potential non-human intelligence. The support Grush has received from others in the intelligence community and endorsements from credible figures highlight the importance of his claims. The involvement of a legal expert like Charles McCullough III emphasizes the seriousness of the situation. This story involves themes of secrecy, discovery, and the government's ethical responsibilities to its citizens. It suggests a complex situation involving intrigue, a commitment to uncovering the truth, and the pursuit of greater openness and accountability. The lawyer, Charles McCullough III, works for the Compass Rose Legal Group in Washington, D.C. He was confirmed by the United States Senate in 2011 to serve as the Inspector General for the intelligence community. In this role, he reported directly to James R. Clapper, the then Director of National Intelligence, and supervised intelligence officers who carried out audits, inspections, and investigations. In May 2022, McCullough filed a legal action on behalf of Grush with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. This action was about detailed information that Grush had collected since 2019 while working for the UAP Task Force. An unclassified version of this legal action states that Grush knows about UAP-related classified information that has been kept hidden or concealed from Congress by parts of the intelligence community. This was done to deliberately block legitimate congressional oversight of the UAP program. All the information Grush provided for this legal action was given under oath. Back in July 2021, Grush confidentially shared classified information with the Department of Defense Inspector General about the hiding of UAP-related information from Congress. He believed that his identity and the fact that he had given testimony were revealed to some people or groups within the Department of Defense and the intelligence community, but not by anyone in the Inspector General's office. After facing negative consequences and retaliation for these disclosures starting in 2021, Grush requested that the specifics of these retaliations be kept secret to maintain the credibility of the ongoing investigation. When Grush made a very serious and believable complaint, the Inspector General of the intelligence community looked at it in July 2022. Right after that, they sent a summary of the complaint to important people and groups. These included Ile Haynes, who is the Director of National Intelligence, and also the Senate and House committees that deal with intelligence matters. The complaint was written and signed by McCullough, who is a big deal at his law firm, and his partner who helps manage the firm. At the end of the document, Grush put his signature next to a statement. This statement said that he promises, under the risk of being punished for lying, that everything in the document is true as far as he knows. After this, Grush started having secret meetings with the staff of the Intelligence Committee. These meetings were not open to the public. During these meetings, He started an investigation because he thought he was being treated unfairly for being a whistleblower. He told them that the people working for Congress didn't have the right level of permission or the power to investigate properly to see all the information he found. The members of the House committee that looks into intelligence issues can't talk about the details of a complaint or say who made it. Grush mentioned that there's a big problem when different government agencies hide their activities about unidentified aerial phenomena in other secret programs. He said they do this for two reasons: to get important information and for operational purposes. But they don't report this properly to the groups that should be overseeing them. These secret programs are called special access programs and programs with restricted access. Grush's brave decision to speak openly and take risks is encouraging other people who know similar things to also think about being more open. For the first time, Jonathan Gray, who works on analyzing unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, is talking to the public. This is the name he's known by at his workplace. The National Air and Space Intelligence Center, NASAC, which is a big part of the Department of Defense, is mainly at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. This center is really important because it helps to figure out and understand threats from the air, space, missiles, and cyberspace.
NSIC provides foundational scientific and technical intelligence on foreign space systems and capabilities, as well as foreign counter-space threats to U.S. space systems.
They have a team of super smart and trusted people who collect, study, and make sense of information in ways that no one else can. Gray explains that this center's amazing skills are not just for looking at normal things. They are part of a much bigger project that began in the early 20th century. This project was about finding and investigating strange materials. While most of these materials were just normal things with easy explanations related to Earth, some were different. Even if there's only a small amount of these different materials, it's really important and clear proof that something unusual is happening. The search for clues goes from hidden talks to big space mysteries, pushing our thoughts. The tale moves to big findings that might bring a new time of knowledge. Chapter 4. An Incoming War. The United States Air Force has been quite secretive about UAPs, short for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. When an Air Force insider talks about their experiences with UAPs, it's really important and gets a lot of attention. Using advanced technology including satellites, different parts of the government have investigated UAPs. They've found evidence on 3 occasions that these strange flying objects might not be from Earth. Experts are trying to understand how these objects work, where they come from, and what they are made of. A person named Mellon has been important in organizing secret meetings for government leaders and other key figures to discuss UAPs. In these meetings, they talk about unusual materials they've found and share secret information about the UAP's abilities and origins. They want to figure out the technology behind these objects and what effects they might have. Mellon arranged the first meeting to talk about finding and examining mysterious objects for members of the Senate Armed Services Committee on October 21, 2019. 2 days later, he arranged a similar meeting for the Senate Intelligence Committee. Mellon believes that if lawmakers pay attention to the information given to their staff and the Inspector General, they can quickly understand the truth about UAPs. He says this is a big challenge for the committees, but he's confident in Congress's leaders. Jonathan Gray and his team at NASAC often get classified briefings with sensitive information. These briefings include real-world examples of UAP encounters and are given to intelligence officials who need to know. Mellon has been getting these kinds of briefings for almost 10 years. A new law, the National Defense Authorization Act for the fiscal year 2023, requires the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense to create a system for reporting sensitive UAP-related information securely. The law also says they must share information about finding, analyzing, reverse engineering, researching, and developing things related to UAPs, both now and in the past. Dr. Gary Nolan, a well-known inventor and entrepreneur with over 300 published works, has started more than 6 businesses based on his lab's technologies. Some of these technologies have been used to examine strange materials. Nolan was the first to publish a peer-reviewed paper on this. He mentions that a small piece of silicon or germanium revolutionized human civilization by leading to integrated circuits, computers, and later artificial intelligence. Nolan suggests that understanding UAP materials could lead to hundreds of technological advances. He believes that even a tiny bit of knowledge about how UAPs work could be more impactful than the creation of the microprocessor. Nolan thinks that studying even small pieces of these unusual materials could lead to unimaginable benefits for humanity. David Grush's case helps us understand the difficult position of people who expose secrets about unidentified flying objects and other sensitive matters. These people, called whistleblowers, play a key role in sharing important information, despite the dangers they might face. Laws protecting whistleblowers are essential as they offer safety to those who reveal such critical information. Jonathan Gray talks about the ongoing need for keeping some things secret, especially when it involves advanced technology or potential contact with beings from other planets. His thoughts are important, considering we now live in a world full of artificial intelligence and ongoing searches for UFOs. UFOs, recently also known as unidentified aerial phenomena, have always interested both the public and scientists. NASA has been working to understand these phenomena scientifically. They have recorded over 510 UAP sightings, but 144 of them remain a mystery. These sightings, which happen about once a month, include various possibilities like new aircraft, drones, unusual weather, or maybe even visitors from other planets. The US Congress and the Pentagon are paying attention to this topic, releasing reports that make it a subject of scientific study. For example, a US congressional subcommittee and a Mexican congressional hearing discussed alien remains, increasing public interest in this area. NASA's new project to study UAPs is a big move towards understanding them better. They have a team of scientists, experts in aviation and artificial intelligence, and retired astronaut Scott Kelly to look at all the information and personal stories about UAPs. NASA wants to change the focus from sensational stories to scientific facts, showing their willingness to be open and honest. Artificial intelligence is very important in this project. NASA plans to make a database to study using AI and machine learning, similar to how these tools are used in fields like particle physics and astronomy. The goal is to use these methods to research UAPs thoroughly and accurately. So far, they haven't found proof of life from other planets, but they are committed to analyzing the data carefully. Grush believes that keeping this secret about competition in weapons for 80 years is bad. It stops everyone in the world from being ready if we ever have to deal with beings from other planets. Could he be right? What do you think? Let us know in the comments, smash that like, and subscribe for more.